Hey everyone, my name is Taryn and thank you so much for stopping by my channel, Nicole Flower House. This channel is all about my cut flower garden and I'm located in Zone 7B. It is raining pretty hard out here, so this will be a very quick update video. This is the only time this week I have to shoot it, so it's happening now, rain or shine. Here are all of my willows. I planted them out a few days ago. Some of them look a little sad and wilty. I'm kind of not surprised though, because they were growing in water and now they're in soil. So they'll probably need some time to adjust. I'm not sure if they'll all survive, but hopefully they do. I think they're pretty resilient and they should bounce back. There's 102 willows in here. This will give me plenty of material, hopefully down the road, for making wreaths and my willow balls that I want to weave and use in my flower arrangements as mechanics. These seedlings here I brought out just a few days ago, and they are continuing the hardening off process. They can go into the garden in probably another week or two. I don't know if I'll be ready for them quite yet in a week, so probably closer to 2 to 3 weeks. These seedlings I have right here are hardened off and ready to be planted into the garden. So over the weekend, I will be working on getting that done. I really want to stay on top of getting my seedlings planted on time this year. I have 3 sets of seed trays going on right now. These ones that are hardened off and ready to go. The set that's up on the deck that you saw a little bit ago that are hardening off. And then I have some seed trays under the lights that have just been seeded up and haven't germinated yet. So that'll be the 3rd round of planting. This spot right here I have weeded, so it should be mostly poppies in here. But I also planted some bachelor's buttons to fill in some of the gaps here. So that'll be a really pretty combination with the poppies and the bachelor buttons. This bed I've also weeded and it is ready for seedlings this weekend. What I have planned for this bed are stock. This bed I have finished and it is ready to go. I planned on filling this whole thing up with snapdragons, but I didn't get enough germination on those seeds this year to do that. So I do have snapdragons there on the end, but I also have baby's breath and carnations in here. I have 2 layers of Hortonova netting. I found last year that my carnations did not do well. They were very floppy because I had the netting too high. So this year I have 2 layers already ready to go for the carnations and the snapdragons. There's also stock down there on the end, and in the corners I have bachelor's buttons. Originally I had planned on putting 1 type of seedling in the bed. So this whole bed would be full of snapdragons, which is very efficient for harvesting. But I just kind of wanted more of a mixed bed, I think. I think it was serendipitous that I didn't have enough seedlings to do that, because now I'm going to have mixed beds and that'll just be really pretty to look at when it's all blooming. And also, I believe it's healthier for the soil to have multiple types of plants planted instead of just one thing. I still do have quite a bit of tulips left. I'm hoping these last me through Easter and maybe all the way into Mother's Day. We'll see. My new cooler system is working out pretty well. I'm still perfecting how it's working with condensation and moisture levels, as well as the temperature in there. The temperature is just a dial, kind of like warm to cold, so it's not a number. So I'm experimenting with the best option for that. And I'm just figuring out exactly how long I can keep tulips in there. I do have the bulbs off and I have the stems in water. So this is not a long-term storage option, but I'm seeing what I can get away with. This right here is yarrow. Now last year, this was completely buried by my jewels of opar. I kind of even forgot these little tiny seedlings were under here. And once the jewels of opar finished and I took that out, this yarrow really took off and it overwintered. It looks so good, so I can't wait to see how this blooms out and what it looks like. Here's an update on my ranunculus bed. These ranunculus are doing okay. I have really small bloom size and they're not super prolific. They're not terrible, but they're just kind of okay. Nothing will ever match my first year when I got all my bulbs from Floret. I don't know if they had a different variety of bulbs or why they were so epic. Every year I've been kind of disappointed since then with the performance of the ranunculus, but I'm still going to grow them and keep trying different things as far as feeding the soil nutrition, keeping the beds better weeded, and just taking better care of these plants to see if they perform better for me. Here are my kale flowers planted. They look nice. I have these mulched in peat moss. I don't really buy peat moss because of the environmental implications, but this peat moss came with my bare root roses that I got, so I didn't want it to go to waste, so I put it in this garden bed. The anemones are still putting on tons of flowers, a true cut and come again. I read in Erin's book, Cut Flower Garden from Floret, that these will produce around 20 to 25 stems per bulb, and they keep pumping them out. So I think I'm getting the true harvest potential out of these. Maybe I'll increase the number of anemones I grow next year. I'm making some progress on the sunflower tunnel. I have the hardware cloth in here to keep out voles, and I may even do a layer of hardware cloth along the panels to keep rabbits out of here as well, because rabbits will go through that easy. So I think I may put a layer just along the bottom of this goat panel to keep them out. But I also have it in the bottom of this garden bed to keep out voles and things, because I do eventually think I'll move my ranunculus out to this spot. I haven't got my sweet peas out here, but I'm hoping to do that this weekend so they can climb this trellis. I don't know if I'll put anything on them over this summer because I do want the sunflowers to get as much sun as possible. Most of the roses look like they're going to do okay, except one. This one right here, the Lark Ascending, is what variety this one is. Looks pretty rough. This green over here is a different rose. So you can see all the foliage has pretty much turned brown. This one's hanging on, but this rose doesn't look great compared to the rest. Another thing I'd like to work on soon is getting this Hortonova and coralling twine really taken care of in the dahlia patch, since I'm seeing dahlia sprouts. Here's an update on the pollinator garden. This lavender looks awful. I think I might take this out. I'm just going to cut all of these pieces off the top and use those, and then take this plant out. And I had this all nice and weeded, but all the weeds have come back. Well, not all of them, a good number of them. So we'll have to do more weeding on this again. This eucalyptus overwintered and looks really pretty. Look how cute that is. I'm having some problems with my daffodils this year. A lot of these are like not opening and they're just turning brown. I'm wondering if these are the ones that were all up when we got that frost, or freeze actually. We had a hard freeze not too long ago. Like this one's fine. So I just need to come in here and prune all these back, cut all those dried up brown buds off of these, and start over. I should have plenty more blooms coming on these. Here's some nice healthy ones back here in the back. Now, something I didn't really talk about last year was that I failed big time on trying to plant peonies. I planted peonies in this area. There was no grass, and the grass decided to come back with a vengeance. So I thought all of these were dead, but they are popping up. So I have some that have survived. We literally mowed them down and just chalked that up to a loss, but there's quite a few out here. This one's coming up right where I planted my roses in the front. I've mentioned a couple times that in addition to all the roses I had planted in the back, that I had 8 more in the front. Well, these are them. This variety is called Honey Dijon. They are over here, just kind of an island by themselves. I do have a whole plan of what I'd like to do to this front area. It includes a lot of roses, a lot of eucalyptus, some hypericum, but I'm definitely going to have to rework my plan a little bit because these peonies are just popping up everywhere. I planted like 80 of them. It was a huge endeavor. And the mistake I made was that I was going to plant first and then mulch later. That was not a good idea because I never got around to mulching. So then I planted some leftovers in this already mulched area, and those ones are coming up nicely as well. So who knows, maybe I'll get some peonies this year when I wasn't really expecting it. Something else I have out here are more eucalyptus. And these, I did not talk about these at all last year because they looked really sad. And I wasn't sure if they would make it. But look at these. These are foxglove. And then I have some hydrangeas. These hydrangeas came out of where the pollinator garden is going to be. They looked terrible, but they kind of got ruined when we had construction done to our house. I wasn't sure if they would make it, but it looks like they bounced back. This whole area I'd love to just fill up with perennials. I think there's some delphinium left in here. I'm not sure if those will come back either. And I also have 3 cherry trees that are starting to flower as well. That'll really tie in this area. I also have some forsythia down here. This year I actually took the time to experiment and force a few of these branches to bloom, and those were amazing. So I'm glad I took the time to do that, and I will be doing more of that next season. It's a little late to use these now, I feel like, because these blooms fall off easily in the vase and they kind of dirty up the water. So it's a little past their prime now, but maybe I can use some of this as foliage once it is done flowering. With all the hustle and bustle of tulip harvesting and seedling starting, I'm really going to be paying more attention to adding perennials to the landscape that I can use. This spot down here, I plan on filling in with more daffodils, and I may even extend that mulched area to the base of these trees and adding daffodils here as well. Okay, let's check on this barrel real quick while it's raining. It's definitely flowing in there. I did have to clean out the gutter pretty good in the inlet hose because when we got our gutters redone, we didn't realize for a while that they did not put the screens back on. And we had to get new screens, so the gutter guards are now in place. This should be getting less clogged up and hopefully we're getting lots of rain. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it definitely sounds, it's definitely going in there. Can you hear it? I don't know. Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds like water is definitely flowing in nicely. Okay, that's all the rain we can take. It's starting to really come down. So that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, and the best way you can support my channel is to subscribe and share.